And they're off.
Further Faster, the best independently owned outdoor store in the known universe. Whether you're heading out on climbing, paddling, tramping or running adventures, look no farther than Further Faster for all your gear and expertise needs over the winter. Head over to 57A Buchan Street, Sydenham or Tautahi Christchurch, or hit them up at furtherfaster.co.nz.
And look, jumping in, before we crack on, we are heading down to Further Faster October 17th, which is a Friday, for a live show. This is the weekend at Crater Rim. And join Ali, me, and a host of special guests for some excellent craics celebrating the sport we love and some absolute legends, and by that we mean you lot. So stay tuned for ticket details soon. And unless you think we are now just like capitalist bourgeoisie, all tickets are donated to charity of our choosing. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, furtherfaster.co.nz. The best.
And it goes something like further, faster, there in Christchurch. Rocky is hairy and so is Badger. Jules is nice and Jacob is delicious. Go to further, faster now.
Oh, further, faster, there in Christchurch. Rocky is hairy and so is Badger. Jules is nice and Jacob is delicious.
Go to further, faster now.
Dirt Church Radio.
Episode 384 of Dirt Church Radio, Trail and Ultramarathon Podcast. I'm Matt Raymond.
And I'm Ali Pottinger.
And we're rolling as a duo for the next couple of weeks. Andrew is indisposed with life administration and stuff, but he will be, no doubt, chipping in as Andrew from the future and editing the pods. So best you get your names, dates, and times absolutely 100% correct there, Alison.
I'll try so hard. Although it sounds like people enjoy Andrew from the future, so maybe I should just put some little Easter eggs in there for him.
Absolutely. But look, before we crack on, let's start with some house sitting. My God, there's an Andrew from the future right there. Some housekeeping. Please support Dirt Church Radio on Substack. After 8 years of sharing the voices and stories of trail running, we need your help to keep the lights on. It's our only revenue stream, and your support helps us reach new places, share more interesting stories with interesting runners, and continue documenting the sport we love. So join our community and help fuel the ongoing saga, the odyssey that is Dirt Church Radio. We'd really appreciate it, Dirt Church Radio at Substack. And you'll notice that we've had some amazing guests on, and that streak is continuing this week. But before we get there, how was your weekend, Ali?
Oh, first of all, with the Odyssey reference, like I was just going to say, can Matt Damon, if it's Matt Damon's, can his stunt double stand in for me? Like just have some guns. Have you
Or
seen
indeed
that?
me. Yeah. No, well, I can confirm that Matt Damon is jacked, and his stunt double also supremely jacked.
Yeah, we need some stunt doubles here. Anyway, sorry, that was my aside. So, how was the weekend? It was pretty cool. I got to, I was going to say participate, but not really participate. I got to work at Run the Forest, which was my first time experiencing that event. And it's super cool, eh? Like, it's nice to have another event in Rotorua, one that has a real participation and kind of entertainment focus. Like, you know, like I was thinking about in the finish line arch, I don't actually remember seeing a clock, you know, like just stuff like that. So, and there was a DJ and band at the finish line. It kind of had more of like a festival feel. So, but it was bloody cold. When I was driving to the start line, my car windscreen froze over again, so I had to pull over, and I only live like 1.6k from Te Puia. So I was trying, and I'm like, nah, I've got to pull over again. So yeah, but cool weekend, neat event, and just great to see people participating, you know, like low pressure participation. So I enjoyed it. But I do have a little rant for the rant bank, which is quite unlike me.
Before you go to the rant bank, maybe
Okay.
you can start writing out your withdrawal slip from the rant bank. I just want to shout out two of my best friends, Jenny Chapman,
Oh,
Eden
yes.
Chapman,
Yeah.
FRB running, and FRB came about because we were having drinks one night, and their teachers and we're frontline healthcare professionals, and we decided that it would be funny to share the worst insults that we'd ever been called. And as you can imagine, quite a potpourri of vulgarity, but FRB took the cake. But FRB running, shout out to Jenny and Eden, raising over $3,000 for Starship, and they're both fundraising, and that's Starship Hospital, near and dear to their hearts. They're some of our best friends and amazing, and Eden knocking it out of the park. Jenny was like 254 for the half, and Eden was like 226 or something ridiculous like that. First one, and amazing.
Oh,
amazing,
first one.
amazing. Yeah.
And Jenny actually did a really heartfelt interview at the finish line that when you're on the microphone and you have to take a pause, that was one of those moments for Aaron and I. So she kind of talked to why they were raising money, or so much money, for Starship, saying they lost their daughter. Is that right? Like, was it 12
Tara.
years ago?
Yep,
Tara?
absolutely.
And she spoke so beautifully about how Starship really played a massive role in that time, and about the event, and how, she had lots of thoughts about Tara out there, and really got me in the feels. But like such a worthy cause. And I believe that there was over $30,000 raised for Starship at the event, so that's pretty epic, hey?
That's amazing, truly amazing. And so shout out FRB running, well done.
Can we say what FRB stands for? I've got the giggles so much.
I'll tell you off mic.
Because I know. I know already. You've told me before. People can take some guesses anyway.
Yeah. Send in your guesses to dirtchurchradio@gmail.com. Anyway, rant away.
It could stand for effing rant bank.
Fabulous running babes. Faster
that's
running
a good
babies.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that.
It kind of like, I guess it kind of has a little bit to do with that, but also not. Like, I just thought this has happened a number of times for me working at an event. And I guess, we put ourselves out there in a public-facing role, emceeing, but also with the podcast and that sort of stuff. So people, I would like to see us as relatable. But sometimes it's quite challenging too, because, you're there in a professional role and you're wanting to bring good vibes and do your best, right? Like, people have contracted me to work at these events. And over the past 5 years, I've had some quite challenging times that are on people's radars. And, when it's like that, work can be a vessel for remembering that there's good in the world and that there's a positive purpose and focus to life, and a place where you can still shine. And there's been a number of times on start lines and finish lines when people have probably accidentally overstepped the mark with delving into my personal life and their thoughts on things. And so I'm conscious too that, there are other people in our sport that experience similar things, that are or have gone through quite challenging situations. And I just want people, everyday runners, to kind of remember that and respect that, because, when we're here at an event, we want to show up and do good. We want to have conversations that facilitate that, that give us that opportunity to bring the good vibes and good energy. I don't kind of want to be reminded of whatever we're going through. And I'm sure probably the same applies to lots of other people that operate in these roles as well.
Yeah, well said. Look, to be fair, I have seen you get absolutely punished over the last 5 years. I remember there was a time at Ultra Kosciuszko. I remember we were baking against those those barricades and just sitting there and
the dust
and the dust with my sunglasses burnt onto my face, and in my experience, when people share that, they're managing their own discomfort. They're not actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's hard, isn't it? It's really, really, really hard. So yeah, Ellie's right. Just have a care,
Yeah. I think just remember, like what you might see on the outside is just the tip of the iceberg, and you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So just maybe if you want to share something that feels heartfelt, bring it at a different time where people have space to process it privately. And I'm saying that from a place of love, but also like a place of wanting to protect others too. Like there's a lot of, I know I saw somebody on Saturday that I thought, you're going through it at the moment, and they
absolutely.
have a similar role to us. And I just I'd just love to just wrap them in a protective bubble for when they're doing their job. Yeah.
I remember at Tarawera this year, I was like, at one point, I came across probably, I think I spoke to I sort of put my tour manager hat on. I was like, okay, Ellie, we got to go. Like, that's it. We're going.
out.
We're out. Me and you. Like, you got to be over here. And that was, we didn't have to be anywhere. But yeah, it's that thing, isn't it? And I think it is also that it's the privilege of being a public facing person, and having more attention. So do come up and chat. Do come up and say hi. Do come up and share, profound things. And same goes for me. It's I've said it before. I remember running Kepler one year with someone, and they disclosed, I'd never met them before, and they disclosed to me that their partner had ended their life. And, both as a sort of a pod, because, felt like they knew me. And as a
and
podcast,
they know that you're like,
you work in that mental
space,
health nurse. Yeah.
Probably that you're a safe space, but it's still.
I'm just trying to run my race.
Yeah.
And sort of nearing that, but also feeling very grateful for that. But speaking of and acknowledging a change of content and context, speaking of Run the Forest, who did you get a chance to chat to?
I got to chat with Helen, who is the race organiser for Enduro events, and it was quite cool just to kind of learn a little bit more about the event. Like, it's become really massive, like I think they had 4,500 runners this weekend. So
it's huge.
It is huge. Like the impact that it has on our, local economy and sport is super cool. So yeah, good chat with Helen. So we'll hear from her now. Wow, it's quite exciting because today we are chatting with Helen from Run the Forest. Now, Run the Forest has been around for how many years now?
I think it's been around for about 13, but under its new name, this is the 4th year.
Okay. And I read something, I don't know if it was an article or if it was some media, whatever it was the other day, saying that there's, is it 4,500 people doing it?
Yeah, that's correct. Yep. We're actually probably actually going to exceed that. So our aim is actually 5,000.
Wow.
So yeah, fingers crossed we sell out. So
that's pretty massive, hey?
Yeah, really exciting for everybody, like for Rotorua and the community, especially in wintertime as well. Get everybody out and moving.
I was thinking that today. I'm red because I just got back from a run and the forest was freezing, and I was thinking, we're pretty game having a run on in the middle of winter in Rotorua, because it was like there was literally still ice on the trails at lunchtime.
Yeah, it's especially the start lines, there's definitely some frost and ice around, but it brings a bit of fun as well. And Run the Forest is definitely more about giving it a go and the social aspect, and there's lots of entertainment along the way, so the cold you won't notice it.
So I've heard rumours over the years of the entertainment. Like, what sort of things can we expect to see out there?
So this year we've got the famous cheerleaders back. So AMJazz, which is a local dance company, coming back doing their cheerleading. We've got saxophone players, we've got drummers, Japanese drummers, we've got DJs in the forest and at the finish line. We've got loop players, we've got a pipe band coming. So it's all different sorts.
Wow. I don't even know what Japanese drummers are.
The big drums, you'll hear them before you see them.
Really?
They're amazing. Yeah, really cool.
Aw, that sounds fun. And like, so obviously it's a kind of a different ethos to lots of the normal events that we see. Like, where did the kind of concept come from to bring all these crazy things in there? Like,
We wanted to create more of an experience-based event.
Mm-hmm.
So basically enhancing that experience for the participant. So it's not just a run or a walk. It's what can they do along the way? What can we put in front of them that's like, oh, that's so cool, that's different. So the whole idea about Run the Forest is a fun, entertaining run, and whether it's your first go, and it's all about getting your friends and family involved as well. And we just want people to have fun along the way, and we're just wanting to, bring more experience to the run as well. So you'll see signs up as well, motivational signs, and hopefully we'll have some supporters out there who have made their own signs as well. But yeah, especially the entertainment sites, they're definitely there to kind of make you just keep going and you're not even thinking about running. And we've also got stilt walkers. That was the other one we've got. We've got stilt walkers coming. Yeah.
that is so cool. So with that, does that mean that you've got, like, obviously it sounds like it's more of an inclusive kind of event. Does that mean that there's broader cut-offs? Like, is it quite cushy?
No, not really pushy. We obviously
cushy,
have
sorry.
Cushy. Oh yeah. Pretty. It's a fun run. We do obviously have the course cutoffs that we need, just for safety reasons and things. But we're more lenient and a bit more on getting to the finish line and getting the participants to the finish line as well.
So the longest distance is 21K. Will we ever see anything longer?
Maybe in a couple of years we might try.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I think with especially the start lines, we've put them in some like iconic places in Rotorua. So the 21 starts at Te Puia, the 10K starts through the Whakarewerua village, and the 7K starts under the sails in the redwoods. So if we were to add another distance, we'd need to find that iconic start line to be able to do that as well.
Oh, watch the space.
Watch the space.
Something to look forward to in the future.
Yeah.
And I mean, gosh, like 5,000 people in town, what does that do for our local economy?
Oh, it's amazing. Especially the previous years when you go out after the event, the whole town is covered in pink because everyone's got their Run the Forest buffs on.
Cute.
And they're all pink and all our signage is pink. It's just great to see in the middle of winter that the town is busy and the tourist attractions have got people in and all the restaurants in each street are full. And it's great. And all of our accommodation is sold out as well for the weekend. So it's definitely a weekend for Rotorua.
I've never actually been out for a night out in Rotorua, so maybe that's the night where I should put out the dancing shoes.
Yeah.
Sounds like that might be the one where we'd see lots of people in town.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I guess, like, you get to work behind the scenes and it's probably absolutely hectic for you at the moment in the build-up, I imagine, trying to get ready for, like, what have we got? Just over a week to go now. I don't want to make you shake in your boots, but like, I don't know, for the people that are listening, what does it take to build up to an event like this, like when it comes to from an organisation point of view?
I mean, we've got 65 casual staff coming in to help with this event next week. We have over 150 volunteer shifts that are needing to be filled. Lots of organisational stuff. Our warehouse is an absolute mess. It's organised chaos. Let's put it that way. But yeah, a lot of people and community groups come on board for this, and we couldn't do it without our volunteers and our community as well. it's just, lots of paperwork and meetings and ticking all the boxes and all the course checks and everything like that. So at the moment, it's counting down now. So it's all in the warehouse sorting gear out and making sure we've got the final touches ready for everyone next week.
How long have you been in the event game?
Myself?
Yeah.
I have been... I came from a corporate background, so I was a conference manager at one of the hotels here in Rotorua, which was 15 years ago now, I think.
Okay.
And then I moved to the performing arts industry and did performing arts events. And now I've moved to the sporting industry, so I now do sporting events. So 15 years in total, and about 5 years now in each different department.
What's it like working in the sporting space compared to the others?
I think it's all relevant and cool. I mean, difference with like the other events is where the weather is definitely a game changer sometimes, and you can't control that. But adds an extra bit of flavour to the event. And definitely sporting community, especially mountain biking here and running, is a big thing in Rotorua. So it's awesome to be able to showcase what we have here as well.
Yeah, it is. And we're pretty lucky.
We are so lucky.
I'm a local, and I've just, 4 minutes to the forest and get to run on our trails or bike on the trails or, go out to Tiki Tapu, go for a swim. Not right now because it's way too cold.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty good place for an active lifestyle. And it's pretty, in some ways I should actually blame you because in the school holidays it's completely rammed and people are out training for these events and excited about our local trails. But it's pretty neat to see the amount of people that come here to enjoy them, hey?
Yeah, and it's even our events are actually growing locally as well. So for Run the Forest this year, I think we're 19% local.
Wow, cool.
So it's not just people coming from out of town, it's the locals getting behind the events as well.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Have you got some really neat or heartening kind of stories over the years, like with people participating? Like what ones have got you in the feels?
Oh, I think this one, everybody got it. This one was a couple of years ago. We were waiting at the finish line for our last walker to come over, and it was our 7K participant, and it was a husband and wife, and he had Parkinson's, and they walked together all the way, and it was going to be their last, they wanted to do it because it was might have been their last hurrah together. So that was very heartfelt. Everybody had tears at the finish line. Pretty sure Philly, the MC at the time, was choking the words out, trying to get them out. But it's always nice for all of our crew anyways to be at that finish line for those last walkers and runners. And just seeing, we've had numerous recovery stories over the years. Somebody's broken something or somebody's had surgery, and this is the first event they're going to do post-surgery. It's just heartfelt stories all over, and just also stories about families coming together and doing it together. So you'll have mum and dad and the kids come and do it, or mum's out doing it and then dad's looking after the kids, but they're out on the course supporting with a sign. So it's definitely lovely to see all that community feel for the event.
Oh, I love a strong sign game. There's some good ones out there.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm working a finish line, I'll always be like, show me a sign, let me read it out. Sometimes it backfires on me, though, if they're not suitable for public consumption. But, you get partway through and you're like, oh, no, I'm committed to this. But it's a part of the fun of the event. I think that's a really good point. Often we forget that people get caught up in times and distances and all that sort of stuff, but just the joy of being out there. And it sounds like this is one of those events that's actually just about people having joy out exercising.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just getting out there and giving it a go. If you're out there running for your PB, then absolutely go for it. But it's also about those people who just want to go out and have a a first time try or a group activity for your friends that, you've never done it before, or it's a New Year's resolution that a group of people have come together. We've always got the groups. Yeah, and we've always got the groups saying, oh, my friend signed me up for this and I'm not sure about it. And I'm like, you'll be fine. And just have a boogie along the way. It's all about fun. Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. Sounds like my kind of thing.
Yeah.
Have we got any gossip? Like, is anything else coming to the market with you guys? Like, obviously, there's a few different events that you organise. Will we see any more running ones?
Well, we're still doing the Hamner Springs Hamner Half. So we go down in May, and the Hamner Half Marathon as well. So if you're in the South Island, come along in May and join that. We're kind of building that one up to also be like the sister event of Run the Forest.
Oh, cool.
So similar things, trying to get entertainment on the way and all the signs.
Yeah.
They have amazing sign writing down there. Last May we had so many signs. It was great. Yeah. And just our mountain bike events, obviously Volcanic Epic, which is our stage race in March, and our Highlander mountain bike challenge in May, and then the Beast of the Waka 100 in October, which will be what we'll focus on after Run the Forest.
No rest for the wicked, hey?
Yeah.
Have you done any of your events? Like, have you actually gone out and run or bike with them, taken the day off, so to speak?
No, I wish we could. Yeah. No, we had a couple of crew members last year challenge themselves to the 100K at the Waka.
Oh, yeah.
So we put on like a mock race for them a couple of weeks before the actual event. And so it was a couple of the crew who did it, and they completed it, which was awesome. Yeah, so we can't, unfortunately, do the events ourselves. We would love to, but we're there to put it on for everybody else.
And it's hard. Like, people often ask me, "Oh, will you run this?" And I'm like, I'd way rather be working it. Like, once it becomes your kind of tradition, like, then you just want to keep doing it rather than run it. So I can appreciate that.
Yeah. And it's all the people you meet along the way. Like, we have the community come out, and it's the same people we see time and time again, and we're so appreciative of their time and effort. And they just become family. They're part of the Big Enduro Events family, whether you're a crew member, volunteer, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the behind the scenes to events. Like, it always feels like a family reunion when you work in an event year after year, and you kind of have your big catch up with all your buddies that help put on this cool experience for people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, every couple of months we get the family reunions back in.
Very cool. Oh, well, I think that's probably us for today. I just thought it'd been really interesting to have a chat and learn a bit more about Run the Forest. It's becoming like one of our biggest running events in New Zealand and probably Australasia, or trail running anyway. So it's cool to hear a bit more about it. And like, around the event, we see it splashed all over the socials. Everybody that's done it is talking about what a vibey and fun experience they've had. So, thanks for coming and having a chat with us, Helen. And I'll look forward to getting to be part of it next weekend.
Yeah.
Yes, bring it on. Busy weekend for our region.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Dirt Church Radio.
Thank you for that. What a little amuse-bouche for our main interview, which you and Andrew also did. Why don't you tell us about that?
Oh, this was super fun. Got to chat with the amazing Lucy Bartholomew. I don't even know how many times she's been on Dirt Church Radio. Are you keeping count, Matt?
Probably about 6.
Yeah. And we've seen her, right? She's had a pretty blinder of a year so far, and such a wealth of experience when it comes to UTMB. So we'll hear more about that from her. And I even managed to get a little bit of tea too about what's going on with her coaching with Cove and stuff. So there you go. Juicy little nuggets.
Let's get into it.
It is with great delight that we welcome back to Dirt Church Radio Lucy Bartholomew. Lucy, how are you?
Oh, I'm all the better to be speaking to you, Ali. It's good to be back.
Oh, so cool. And I'm trying to think when we last chatted, was it like pre-Tarawera maybe?
Yeah, I think I jumped on for the preview show, and
Yeah.
obviously I was hanging out like a bad smell in your house.
No,
so-
the best of smells sometimes.
Not most of the time.
So where in the world are you at the moment, Lucy Bartholomew?
So I'm currently coming to you from Boulder, Colorado in the USA, and shortly heading on Monday back to Europe for the final stint towards UTMB. So it's been a bit of a round-the-world trip this year so far.
Yeah. And so UTMB, the big kahuna, the big goal, right?
Lap number 4. Yeah,
Lap
we're going
number
round
4.
again.
Ah.
I know. What? 4th time's the charm.
I believe it. What keeps you going back there?
I feel like, I always thought UTMB would be a race that I was going to do it once to see it and to believe that I could do it and then do it again to race it. And what I've realized is that I feel like you race different sections of it and you get jigsaw pieces along the way, and some click together and some don't match up. And I've just been, every time I finish, I don't feel like I squeezed to my potential, and I'm like intrigued and curious about how I could improve or what jigsaw pieces to pick up. And I feel like last year it was a wet year, it was a bad weather year, and I ran in 5th position for a significant portion of the race and felt like I was, for once, actually in the race. I've had 2 10th place finishes before that where I kind of feel like I just walked into 10th place and it was more of I was just a stubborn prick out there and stayed in it.
A fast stubborn prick.
A fast hiking stubborn prick. And then I got a sniff of like actually racing and what that felt like. And yeah, I'm hoping this year I can kind of piece that last bit together and have my best day out there. And yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of like become the place to be. But I do know that it will be a 4th and then a rest from UTMB. So I'm just kind of like enjoying this process one more time and also just being a bit more eyes wide open to what else is going on at this time of year.
I have so many questions around that. So the first one is so you're having a rest from UTMB next year. Did you do trail days at Hard Rock? Is it Hard Rock that's the next goal?
So I have been putting in for Hard Rock. My UTMB has always been my qualifier into the lottery. And honestly, in seeing Hard Rock in person last weekend, I was kind of like, why am I putting in for this lottery? This race is bananas, I was like, I don't think I'm ready for this. But that's how I felt before my first UTMB. I did the lap over 4 days and I was like, I cannot fathom stitching this together. And in doing the hard rock, and I've done the soft rock over 4 days, I feel the same way of like, I don't think I can do this. And then I saw everyone who completed the race and started the race and made their way through. I was like, wow, I think I'm sealing myself if I think I can't do that. So I'll put in for the lottery, but I'll leave that up for the lottery gods to decide. The main goal for next year is, as usual, as per the same as this year, to get that golden ticket and to go back to Western States.
Okay. And so what's the route for that then? What are you thinking? What are you thinking you'll line up for that?
Well, a little TBD. I feel like one part of me, and we were talking about it at breakfast this morning, was there's a few athletes who are doing UTMB and then taking Javelina.
Okay.
So the 100-mile in Halloween in the US.
Fun.
It is in October, and that's pretty soon after UTMB, but it runs really fast. And I was kind of like, oh, but I don't really want that being a thing of like mid UTMB being like, oh, but I could really like stop here and save myself for Javelina, because there's always that padded by the next. And currently I don't have a next lined up, which I think is to my advantage, where I'm like, August 27th is the race that I'm here for. And what happens after that, I'm super open to. But otherwise, it'll be back to Tarawera or Black Canyon or canyons. Yeah, I can go in any direction.
So Lucy's just ready to throw down. This is what I'm hearing.
Oh, I mean, it's so funny. I feel like change is as good as a holiday in this sport. And after training for Tarawera this year, I was like, man, I can't wait to just like walk up mountains and pack a bag full of snacks and get my poles out. And like lately, I'm just like, I can't wait to feel like a runner again. Like I want to be on flat surfaces. And it's just kind of like, it's cool to do the same sport, but done differently. It feels like it rejuvenates you each way.
Yeah, because I was about to say this is coming from the woman that just won Brisbane Marathon. And what was it? Like what did you run?
2:47.
2:47.
Yeah.
So like how many, that wasn't actually that long ago. I feel like I only just saw it on Instagram the other day.
No, they did like because they did a throwback and they've emailed me being like, so you'll come back again? And I actually just loved, that was such a last minute. They let me in on the Wednesday of the race week.
Okay.
I was kind of done with the Melbourne cold. I just needed like a little getaway. And so flew up and booked some accommodation and then we started at 6. I was done by 9 a.m., had my breakfast, airplane by midday, home. And I was like, are you kidding me? This marathon thing, I can get around this.
You're turning into Mike Wardian with like banking on a flight that's a couple of hours after your race finishes.
I was a little nervous about it. I've never done anything quite so quick in timing, but it did work out this time.
Oh my goodness, that's cool. And I mean, like talking about that, we've had some epic races over I saw you at Tarawera and then you've gone on to have a really strong run at Transvolcania and then also Laverado, and Brisbane Marathon and probably other things that I haven't named too.
Yeah, it's been like a really good, Tarawera, I did feel like that was an exception, not the rule to how fit I was. I didn't think that was a good display and I had my life circumstances that I put that down to. I don't think it was a me thing. I think it was just a life. The sport doesn't shift for your life. And so I was really proud to be able to race Paris Marathon before Transvolcania. And off the back of Solomon Camp, it was just like super fun. And I was like, wow, I really am fit that I can stack a big training week with the Solomon Global team and then race a 2:40 marathon, 2:41 there on the cobblestones of Paris.
I was thinking that. It's meant to be all cobblestoney, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's funny because it's considered a hilly course, and I was like looking for the inclines. I was like, where is it? But I've never been to Paris, so I was kind of running along being like, Eiffel Tower, Arc de Triomphe, oh, this, that. And that was just such a fun experience because I got to join, that was the Solomon Road Teams camp, which finalized with the marathon. So I got to go from the ultra camp to the road running camp and then that kind of led really nicely into Transvolcania. And that race went exactly kind of how I thought it would with where I was at, where it's 50 kilometers uphill, 20 kilometers downhill, very steep, and then 5 kilometers to the finish. And I've been climbing really well, but the technical, volcanic, rocky, steep descent, I was just having a really hard time in training, kind of wrapping my head around it. And I was like, I'm just going to have to run a 50K race, mitigate the damage as much as I can for 20Ks, and then try and put a park run into the finish. And that was my mentality. And at the top of the 50K, I passed Blandine. So I was in first place. And then she came past me like she was doing a different sport. It was just, I actually said to her, I yelled out to her, I was like, please just be careful, you don't need to go this fast to beat me down here. Trust me, if you just jog, you will put time on me. But I was really proud of myself for even though she passed me with such dominance that when it got to the bottom, I was able to kind of get excited to just squeeze the 5K. And I'd heard that it was 8 minutes. I wasn't going to catch 8, but I caught up 6. So It was really cool to finish and then to cross the finish line and be like, wow, because I had that kind of 20K recovery cool down, you know, like it wasn't intense for me. I actually felt like could have kept going. So that gave me a lot of confidence for Laverado. So I went home, did this Brisbane Marathon as a bit of a long run, fun run, and then went across to Italy and was my first time in the Dolomites, which was just incredible. A place I'd never been, a kind of like a one day, someday kind of race. And kind of, led for 13 hours and got passed in the last downhill by Sunmaya again with such dominance. She came past me again, looking like a different sport, and I tried to react. I had nothing to give to that, but was proud of myself for kind of being like, no, there's a lot of positives here. You had 13 hours of leading and running, and you managed technical sections, and it kind of felt like I finished not destroyed because I didn't do anything that was out of my skill set. And it felt like another good training or stepping stone to UTMB.
And am I right or wrong in thinking both were under course records? Is that right or not?
Yeah, so super cool. Like Transvulcania, we were, I think it was like 30 minutes under.
Wow.
You know? Yeah, so it was just incredible. I was rooming with Emily Forsberg, and which was such a throwback of a team, you know. It was we were sitting in our beds, which were like two singles, which were pretty much pushed together, so we were just one big bed. And we're both sitting there reminiscing on the good old days and, you know, how our lives have changed and evolved. And I remember standing at the start line of Transvulcania, and they had the flashing up of all the people who had past champions. So you had young Killian, and then you had Emily from 2014. And, you know, I looked over at her and I was like, man, it's like 12 years. And so much has changed, but she's still just like the smiling, beautiful person that she always has been. And I was like, so much has changed, but so much hasn't. And so to see us run so fast this year, and then her to run just a couple of minutes slower than when she won, but come third, but seeing her still up there and at it 10, 12 years on was really special. And then Laverado was both of us were 20, 30 minutes under that course record, which was really incredible. It was some real legends have done that race, the Courtneys, the Ruths, the Meow Yows, and we all didn't really know what we were expecting to run. And I couldn't believe how fast we were going. So it was, it's been really cool and very motivating. I think the women's racing is just going through a catastrophic boom at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. Like, because I'm watching these races unfold and I'm like, and I'm tracking you, right? Because we're friends. Like, I'm not one of those people that follows all the races, but I follow my friends and I get so excited when I'm watching and I'm like, come on. But I've got two things I want to kind of talk to about what you've just said. The course records, like, how cool is it to be absolutely smashing these races still, and course records dropping? Like, it must be pretty heartening to know that you're still right at the peak of the sport and that you're escalating with it. Is that making sense? Like, yeah,
I feel such pride in being a part of this, kind of seeing these records tumble. And you know, it's funny because I think a lot of people, they're kind of like, oh, you broke the course record, but you got second. So it must be disappointing, you know? And I think because of how hard the last few years prior to this have been, I'm just like so grateful to be in and amongst with these legends of the game, these Blandines, the Sunmayas, the Emilys. You know, I'm sandwiched on podiums between the new generation, the old generation, and the biggest inspirations. And so I think it's such a cool thing. And I've seen this sport, you know, I'm staying at the moment with Amanda Basham, and we talk about the good old days when we met at Western States in 2018. And she was no kids, and she was camping and dirt bagging and everything, and I was just young, puppy-eyed and stuff. And to come together now and just be kind of, she's 2 kids, 2 dogs, got a house. Like, her life has very much changed, and I'm kind of still that little puppy that, she jokes that I'm her 3rd dog because she's just got to like let me out to run, feed me, and I just kind of like come in the car with her. But it's just kind of, it's so cool that we've been able to protect our love for the sport, protect our bodies to be able to continue to do this and evolve and adapt. And I think the only way we've been able to do that is to ride the lows the way we have, because we both agreed, like, there's been years where it's just like, am I banging my head on a brick wall here? Like, what am I doing? And questioning it. And then kind of having these 2 races, it's not these races that mean the most. It's because of what's happened before that. And not many people, Ali, you've had a front row seat to my whole mental, physical, spiritual, the unraveling, the kind of like trying to scoop it back up and put it back neatly into a package. And you've been a voice an ear that I've voiced a lot of this too. So more than anyone. So these things feel even more special, and I'm just proud to be a part of it and still in it.
Yeah. And I think, like, you're talking about legend of the sport, and you are a legend of the sport as well yourself. Like, you rubbing shoulders with Emily and Amanda, and you girls have been, like you said, there's been over a decade of you all showing up at a really elite level and navigating some really tricky things. Like, what do you think you all have in common? Like, what's kind of kept you all at this peak of the sport for so long?
Well, I think it's just that. I think it's the showing up, and it's the understanding that there's just going to be patches and seasons and years where it doesn't come as easily as it did beforehand, or it will come in the future. Momentum is easy to keep and hard to find. And I think that that's something that we all have, talking to Amanda, talking to Emily, they have these big life experiences of kids and stuff. And these are things that don't just disappear. They follow you with your journey now. And they've been able to adapt and evolve. And then I think that just that consistently, and that just that grace, I think, to give your body and your brain and that season of life and that era of time, just being like, it's kind of similar to how you ride out an ultra, where you're like, the impermanence of how you feel in an ultra is the beautiful thing about it. It's the fact that it can change from being on top of the world to on death's door, and it can rotate many, many, many times. You can live many lives out there. And I think in our careers, we've just had this unwavering acceptance of like, this will pass, this will pass. And as long as we're good people and we look after each other and we connect on that highs and lows, we realize that we're not the exception. This is just a rule for everybody, that there will be highs and lows when you're doing something so demanding and you're doing so much of it. This is a huge portion of our days and our time and our lives. And yeah, to be 10 years deep and still continually doing it and riding that, it's a pretty powerful thing.
Do you think that with Amanda and Emily both having families, like that kind of can be a distraction from all the running noise as well? Like, it's quite a leveler. How do you find, because running is the focus of your lives. Like, obviously you've got your family and your dog and your friends and all of that sort of stuff, but sometimes I guess it can probably feel like your whole identity. And then how do you balance that? Because it's tough, right? Like, it's great when it's going good, but when it's challenging, how does that affect you?
Yeah, I think it's definitely something. I mean, even staying with Amanda and her kids at the moment, I'm getting the full experience of the Basham household, which is 2 dogs, 2 kids, Justin and Amanda. And it's such a nice reprieve. We go for our runs, Amanda and I, good or bad. You pick the kids up from summer camp and they are on from 5 till 9. They want to ask all the questions. And it's been really nice because nothing feels heavy and you don't carry it onwards from your run because you can't, they won't let you. They don't want to hear about it.
Nah.
And so it's been really nice. And I think, between having this and then next week I go to the Solomon camp, and that's going to be a completely different atmosphere where it is going to be, I'm seeing it as more of like, that's the business trip from America to Europe for UTMB camp until the race is, we're in a high performance group, we're in a high performance environment, everything is being calculated and to allow us to perform and give us the best opportunity. And so I think that kind of like change feels like the mindset shifts, and that's really good. It gets into that race mindset. Whereas here in the US, UTMB feels so far away. And then after UTMB, I will go back home to Australia and it'll be with my dad and my dog and my friends and that environment. And so it just ebbs and flows, that it gives like when I need distractions and kind of something to share the load with, I have it. When I don't, I can kind of sink in and go back internally and get myself ready. And it feels sustainable to have that kind of ebb and flow.
I just want to say
hello.
Yeah, hi, Andrew.
Hello.
Hi, Lucy.
Hi.
Sorry, I'm really late. What did I miss?
We've covered Laverado, Brisbane, Transvolcania, Emily, Hard Rock, and I'm about to ask Lucy another juicy question.
All right, I'll just sit back. I'll just sit back and enjoy and interject if it's appropriate. Cool.
So you're speaking about the Solomon camp, and recently I got someone to slide into my DMs and be like, "What's going on with Lucy? Like, is she not working with Coop anymore?" I asked him. She called him out and said, "You didn't celebrate Lucy's result," and he said, "I'm not coaching Lucy at the moment." So I thought, I'm coming at this from quite a delicate place, because as a coach, I understand you have a really special relationship. You guys have worked together for a long time. So is that what's happened there? Like, is this kind of tied in with, yeah?
Well, this is a juicy question. I've got a cup of tea ready. Just need some popcorn.
Spill the tea, Lucy.
Yeah, I turned up at just the right time.
So there was like a bit of a shift after the end of last year. I re-signed with Solomon and moved into the high performance team, which is this kind of integrated environment and personnel of Solomon. So they're bringing to you a coach, a nutritionist, a strength coach, sports psychologist, and creating these environments wrapped around the athletes. And it's through the sponsor of Solomon. So in order to do that, I had to leave CTS and leave Coop. And it was a really challenging thing because Coop was so pivotal in that kind of journey I've been on to trying to get back up to the top. And, he messaged me after Transvolcania and he said, "That was an incredible result." And I wrote back and I said, "That result is you. It's not what's happened in the last 2 months where I've changed and had a different coach. It's been the 3 years that Coop kind of looked after me and kind of kept me motivated and kept me going and showing up and has been so instrumental." And so it's, there's just so much respect and love there and appreciation for what, especially, I can speak to Jason Coop himself and the CTS team. I had Meredith Turnover as a nutritionist and Nicole Ramzadan as strength. And it was just a very incredible team. But it was just with the new contract and the new high performance team, it was a change that needed to be made. And it was by far one of the hardest things I've had to do. But I think that, there's just a whole lot of respect and appreciation. And what I've got now is it seems to be working. And it's a really good team that cares just as much. So I'm in good hands as well.
Good.
So there was no big animosity or anything and everyone's cool?
Mostly, yeah.
Oh, I love the hesitation. Oh, great. I was about to put the popcorn away, but maybe I'll keep it
No, let me
nearby.
just swallow that in my throat a little bit.
Okay. Ooh, that was...
It wouldn't be easy. Like, and I can imagine, because I've seen, we've all seen how much progress you've made, like how much there's been a turnaround in the last few years. And I can imagine how closely you guys have been working together. And it's probably quite daunting as an athlete to know you've been in those steady hands and now moving forward as a change. But also, like, that sounds like a great environment for everything to kind of align in a holistic point of view to help get the best out of you performance-wise too.
Yeah, and it should be hard to leave that kind of relationship, because the reason it's hard is because everybody cares. And if we didn't care and I just walked away with no feeling of sadness or loss and on his part too, then it's not a good relationship. But everything kind of has, there's people come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And Coop was especially important for that season of my life. He'll be someone that will always be important for my lifetime. But I think that it was kind of something that just, needed to move on, and for me to take this contract and to squeeze this opportunity and see what I could do with this kind of support where everything is united with Solomon. And it's kind of like, if not now, when? And if not me, then who? And so I just wanted to try it out.
So sorry if I'm getting a little into the weeds on this, but so you've been a Salomon athlete forever, right? But there's a new level. There's clearly levels in this, and you've sort of gone up a level. Is that what's happened?
So Solomon has brought in a high-performance coach, Aitor Virabili, who was the Ineos Grenadier cycling team high-performance coach. So this whole system, it seems very cycling forward. It's something where you have high-performance coach, and then you have a team that has coaches within it, and that way we can train as a global team. Not everyone on Solomon International is with these coaches, but that's the direction it's moving, where
that's
we
the
can
plan,
kind of,
right.
That's the plan. So this is like a new program. It's got really strong budget. It's got really good, it's very finger on the pulse of science and trying new things. And, it is a very professionalized way of doing it. And we were discussing at lunch today about, what do you think the payoff is of being in a program like this? And I've heard the Francois Dehans and Courtney's and myself and Ryan Sands, where we've been in this sport so long, but a lot of that longevity is because it's been very fun, very rogue, probably very unprofessional, but it's been filled with a lot of joy and driven by passion. And when you start, trying to conform and to do things and change things and be a bit more professionalized or science-driven, it can be challenging. And I think that, like in cycling, there's a huge burnout rate. We just want to protect that for the athletes coming in and be like, it's cool to do these things and to try it. And but if it doesn't work for you, or it feels like it's taking energy and not giving it, because you need to be able to give it on the races. This sport is far too long and far too demanding for you to not be loving the process, and you're only looking for the destination of the finish line and the result. So it's been like a really interesting time, I think, for Solomon and the athletes. And I feel kind of lucky to be an OG in the old setup, and then kind of also be like young enough that they're kind of being like, oh, I wonder if she'd be interested in doing this, and seeing if there's like potential there. And I'm kind of enjoying it for now.
Because obviously the Ineos Grenadiers, I mean, that taking that like Tour de France type training and mentality, we don't really want to go that hard, do we? Like, it's so serious, and every calorie is counted, and every day. And I mean, this coach must be having to sort of turn the dial down a little bit, or is that the battle that you're sort of trying to face?
Well, I think that it's being put into the program bit by bit, and it's definitely not an overwhelming change, and there is still a lot of autonomy. And I think the things that they're focusing on now are things that are only going to help, like fueling in your race. And that just seemed to be this, we're seeing it all over the tour about how many grams of carbs Pogacar's taking, and
how many is
David Roach.
What is
I think it's like 150 to 200 on stages.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
don't take it and do it. He is a different machine, a different animal. And I might be
He's also
speaking
not
wrong on
bouncing
those
up and
numbers.
down like a runner. Like he's
Yes,
on a bike,
exactly.
Right? This is,
But, you know, like David Roach is a good example of someone who's been talking about that, taking that to running. And I think, you know, like us addressing that at Solomon is only going to help, one, the longevity, the health, and the performances of the athletes. So I think that the moment it feels like they're professionalizing really low-hanging fruit, which is great because they're just things that it's like when you start to do it, you're like, well, duh, why was I not doing this for years? I mean, I was taking Spring Energy. I thought I was doing better than I was. If we're just going to like go right into it, you can pull your tea back out.
I've got my special Vegemite mug for you today.
We actually did talk about spring on our most recent podcast. I was saying I like the spring mango gels, but I didn't want to name them.
Dude, we went into the general store in Silverton, and Silverton is like this historic old town. And on the shelf as you walk straight in is just Spring Energy. And I was like, I'd love to know the use by on these things because it doesn't look like they've moved stock in a wee while. But also it was just like such a throwback to see awesome sauce and Canterbury. I was like, damn, it's like going flash from the past.
I think one of my best ever races was on Spring Energy, so there must have been something in there, right?
Well, there is something in there for sure, and they are delicious. Just not enough.
Were you Silverton? So were you obviously part of the hard rock sort of vibe going on? Like, so I'm a little out of the loop. Did you pace? Did you just hang out? What was the deal?
I just came to hang out. So I ended up coming to the US was a bit of a last minute decision for me based on just needing to leave the EU for my visa. And I just have so many good friends in America. And as an Australian flying a 9-hour flight from London to Denver, that's not a long flight for me. And it's quite easy to land and be taken into the amazing Basham household and running with incredible athletes and an incredible playground. And then Amanda was heading out to crew Kareth, who finished second for Ultra. And I just hopped in the car too and came out. And it was really cool. I helped crew Kareth through. Obviously saw Courtney go through and was able to support my teammate. And then I actually got out of the car in Telluride and ran the course reverse back to Silverton, which was an incredible long run to do. It was
How far is that?
It was 50 Ks, and in the first 20 kilometers was 2,500 meters of climbing, and it was at like 3,500 meters high, up to 4,000. I was just, dude, I was sobbing.
I just realised you're in the perfect spot. If you are in New Zealand, we have a vert month at the moment where every day there's an extra 100 metres. So you start off day 100, 200, 300, 400, and you have to do that amount of vert every day. So it's the 23rd today, so you'd be doing 2,300 metres of vert today, and then tomorrow 2,400 metres of vert. And living in the middle of Auckland is not the greatest place for that, so I bowed out straight away. But you, living in Boulder right now, you'd be able to smash it out before breakfast every day. It'd be amazing.
Dude, it's been insane. I mean, the kilometers and the vertical meters have just come really easily. Like, it's high and it's been incredibly hot here. I think Boulder recorded their hottest day since 1981 the other day. And we've just been trucking in, like putting 4 or 5 bottles in our packs. And so it's been hard work, but it comes easily when you're climbing these mountains. And last week I did, 10,000 meters. And it was all just kind of like, oh, I wasn't even looking for vertical gain here. This is just part of what it's like out the door. And it's been really cool. I feel like it's made me, I was saying to Amanda, I feel like when you train hard, you race easy. And we're just training in like higher, hotter, and more technical terrain than UTMB will be. So it's, it'll be a nice reprieve when we've got mountain streams, cooler temperatures, and a buffed out trail that goes around the Mont Blanc. That's my hope anyway.
Yeah.
So what is the goal for UTMB this year then?
Mostly, like I said at the start, just to kind of like find my best day from start to finish. I feel like I've each year inched my potential a little bit further along. And, I just think if I can try and get that Champère Lac to the finish line, that last marathon, and just find the ability to be able to move downhill a bit faster and to be able to hike a bit better and keep my stomach still working. There was just so many low-hanging fruit at the end of last year that I was like, there's at least an hour or so in just this. Obviously, it was bad weather, which I think was something that either worked in your favor or not, and I was able to manage it, but I definitely didn't excel at it. But yeah, I think it's just to kind of like be curious about trying to right some of those wrongs, and then new wrongs will come up, and I'm sure at the end I'll be like, and we're going for a 5th lap.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, like obviously there's a few areas that you're wanting to work on, like with having that, what is it, like a psychologist that's alongside the team? Have they been helpful? Is there some, because in my mind, like you've always been a champion and you've got it in you, like have they given you some good insights into how to approach it when you're kind of coming at it from this, like, I'm trying to piece it all together, I've got this and I've got this and I want to do that?
Yeah, I feel like there's been a lot more of kind of like, that's probably my weakest muscle in my body is my brain. And it can be,
Wow.
no, it's for sure.
That's
you
really
know, you
interesting.
can squat your life away and get strong quads, but I feel like my brain, and especially being able to, I don't know, to take accountability for the things that I can control to make things better has been something that, I think Courtney DeWalter has been really interesting in the way she talks about that constant kind of like just that curiosity and that problem solving and being the type of person that wants to be able to solve it. And I think that's what like drives me, is just like, I just, there's moments in the race and there's decisions that I made and I'm like, I just know that I can do that better. And now I have this tool belt of experiences and things that and working with a sports psychologist, kind of mental things that I can do to bring myself back to be like, UTMB is a 24, 25-hour race. Like, it's a long time. And so to be able to, like,
for a few people.
I mean,
Wasn't
after
for me.
Donor, I'm like, I just think that that's kind of like, it's an exciting thing to be tapping into. And it's something that doesn't require me doing more miles. It just requires me being accountable for where my head's at. And I practice that on the daily with just showing up for training, however it goes, and then just realizing that nothing holds enough weight because everything is so impermanent and everything moves on. And I think that that's been something that's just been pretty pivotal in like the long block to UTMB, and it will be pivotal for the long race of UTMB.
Are you doing any little shakeout races before the big one?
I actually signed up for this weekend, so on Friday, so not tomorrow, but the next day here. There's a little mum and pop race called Never Summer 60 kilometer. There's also a 100K. Amanda is doing both because she's crazy. And yeah, honestly, I am just like, I tell everyone, I'm like, yeah, I'm doing this race, but she's doing both. And so we're going out there in the van, camping. And it kind of I think it feels really special because it feels like us doing the sport that we fell in love with in the way that we fell in love with it. The camping, the dirt bag, we're just drop bagging, we've got no crews, like we're just going for a long catered run, which is what we used to do just time after time. And nowadays it feels like it's just big race to big race. And so I think to do this race in preparation for the circus of UTMB that we know is to come, it feels like this is for the soul and UTMB is more for the doll, the money, and like the sponsors, the media.
The hype.
So, yeah, the hype, exactly.
I think that one is the one that Justin actually talked about when I interviewed him. He had mentioned
he's
Never
on the
Summer.
100K.
And he was saying it's, like it's amazing. That's the one that people should travel for if they're going to come and do it. So I'm super keen to hear how it goes for you and what your thoughts are.
Is it in Colorado?
Somewhere? Yeah, 3 hours from Boulder. Yep.
Into the mountains, I assume. Yes.
Yeah, behind Breckenridge. It's up high. That's all I know.
Okay.
I just get in the car and Amanda points it in a direction. I just karaoke my way to the start lines of these things.
Karaoke.
I'm so sad that the one time I went to Colorado, it was as a musician and not a runner. It was all these beautiful mountains were so wasted on me. I was like, oh, they look nice, but
You have to come and experience it again differently.
Yeah, do it differently.
Maybe never summer next year, Andrew.
Never Summer. That's a great name for
God,
a
they'll
race.
love this. I'm like promoting their event. I asked if I could get off the wait list.
To New
and they were
Zealanders.
like,
We were reading an article yesterday, the day before. Sorry, Ellie might have already talked about this, but UTMB talking about having to, or the mayor of Chamonix saying, I'd like to reduce the numbers and it's becoming too full on and that sort of carry on. I mean, I've only experienced it once and it's far too chaotic for me. It was really, really full on about 2019. You've obviously been there a few times. You're looked after by a team, so that may help a little bit. Certainly when you're not and you're going there as an individual, you have to figure a lot out yourself and it's quite difficult with the chaos. Do you think the mayor's got a point?
do you know, it feels like we're just trucking behind Kona Ironman, just, you know, a few years in the past. So I think, you know, Ironman will not be new to having this kind of feedback from locals and the valley or the island not being able to withstand the amount of people that come and like what it does to the valley. And, you know, I think that there's such an economical, like, you know, we bring a lot of money and a lot of tourism but I think that there's we don't need to keep expanding this sport. You know, I think it's cool to have so many people participating in it, but, you know, Western States hasn't shifted its start list that much in all these years. And I think there's a beauty in that, in capping that experience for those people. If we start to just like, you know, everyone come and make it, you know, you do start to see the experience be dwindled. And, you know, when my dad did it in 2014 and he was a 40-hour finisher and he and I went over and we were on our own and we booked it and I bussed around and, you know, it was a hard experience then and it's only grown since then. And so I have the elite experience that I experience is not what I experienced when I was 17 years old and with my dad, and what the most of the people who are paying for that experience and investing time and energy and money and sacrifices for, I am concerned about their experience because that's what they'll take away from it. And so I think to protect that, there does need to be some buffers. But I never want it to be that, you know, the locals are unhappy about the runners coming, because Chamonix in summer is, you know, that it's not even known as a summer destination generally. It's a winter place. And so we are important to the place of Chamonix, that August period, and that even end of June for Mont Blanc Marathon and then Mont Blanc 90K. We bring a lot of people into that area and get to enjoy the mountains, which with climate change, I think is going to be even more important than ever with the lack of snow tourism that you're going to get.
Yeah, making it an all-year-round destination is probably overall in their interest, but we certainly don't want to face the wrath of French locals because, boy, they love a protest in France. So,
oh my God, yeah.
Don't tempt them, Andrew. Don't tempt them.
Oh, you can imagine them. I could see a farmer filling the trail with his cows and just sort of saying, "No, you're not going this way." I can see it already. Let's hope it doesn't come to that.
It does, but I think it does kind of impact that region for quite a long time, because I know lots of people that have gone over to do to fast pack or hike the tour purely because they are trail runners and they follow UTMB. So I think there's probably an unrealised, or maybe realised, who knows, but there's definitely a lot of people that go there because of it, even though it's quite broad, you know, like more kind of that shoulder season as well. For those people that are new to UTMB, you know, now that you're the old dog with doing the fourth lap around the loop.
Local legend, baby.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
really.
Showing you local legend status. What would you say to people that are going to their first UTMB or thinking about it? Because like I've got a couple of people that I coach that are doing it, and they're just like, oh, how do I piece this together? You know, like it's big. When they do their training runs, they're like, oof. So what would you say to somebody that's just about to take the flight over?
Yeah, I think UTMB is its special own kind of experience, you know, and it's a week-long experience with races starting and going off throughout the week. You've got PTL kicking it off on Monday, TDS, CCC, OCC UTMB and some other smaller races around. And it's really easy to get sucked into being in the expo and being in town and being at the finish and the start lines. And that's what makes it exhausting before the race has even begun, is trying to be a part of all of it. And it's just impossible. So I think it's kind of picking your battles on what you want to see and being intentional about the time that you do spend in that very intense environment of Chamonix Center. The cool thing about the valley is that you can take a bus or take a train up the valley and go to little towns like Argentière or Vallocine, which have supermarkets and little cafes, and the runners will be running nearby those places, so you get to see them, but without the chaoticness that comes with the streets of Chamonix. So I've always said to people, I know you want to soak up everything about UTMB, but protect your race and protect your experience of the course, because that's what you've trained for. You haven't trained to just stand there and clap and then be exhausted for your run yourself. And then I think the stats of UTMB and all the UTMB races are exceptional. It's very challenging to read them, and it's scary. They're numbers that are big, and especially coming from Australia, where we don't have those big Alps, and numbers don't come as normally to us. I do believe that the elevation and the whole course comes a lot differently with just the beauty and the way that this course is designed around this mountain. It kind of it doesn't feel like you're repping a mountain out there to get 10,000 meters. It feels like you get up to summits, you're distracted by views, you traverse along, it rolls up and down. And the best thing you can do about it is just not fight for pace on sections that you're just not meant to be on pace for. This course, if you kind of run it with hiking the ups, enjoying the rolling downs, tiptoeing down the technical downs, running the flatter sections in the valley, hiking up, using the aid stations, which are just chock full of food and very enthusiastic French and European volunteers that want to help you move forward. It comes a lot easier. It becomes a problem when you're trying to race sections that are just mountains that you're not meant to race. And I think kind of going in with that mentality of just letting it kind of fartlek your way around, it really comes very gracefully, and it feels very manageable and bite-sized from checkpoint to checkpoint. And it's just beautiful, the places you'll go. And Chamonix is so chaotic. And then when you go into the night in UTMB and you leave Le Contamines, and it's just you and a string of head torches, and it's silence except for the breathing and the footsteps and the poles and the cows. It's just like, it's so beautiful. And then you descend into like Courmayeur, and it's this stadium of people that are just hanging out waiting for their runner, and there's just energy that pushes you out of there. And then you're back into the night by yourself, and then you're greeted by sunrise. And so there's just, instead of using kilometers as markers in this race, I use like energy givers. It's kind of like, okay, the town of Courmayeur, the sunrise, the summit of Grand Col Ferret, which feels like it's never going to come, and then it comes. These are like things that just keep moving you forward, because it is such a demanding race, and it's such a hard thing to do. And it's hard because it's worth it, and it's demanding because not many people in the world can say that they took on this opportunity and this challenge and bet on themselves to be able to take their 2 feet and their backpack of snacks around Mont Blanc in one hit. And I think that that's just like a really cool thing to go and experience. And so, yeah, if you're doing it this year, I just say like, hell yeah. And if you've gotten this close to the race and you can get to that start line and stay healthy and be fresh over fit, is always going to be your best bet, because you can find fitness around Mont Blanc.
You've got time.
You won't get any fresher out there, but you can find fitness.
I think that's a really beautiful description, and often people don't apply that to their ultra races, especially the long ones. Like we just talked to Jeff Garmeyer last week, and he was talking about, like his experiences doing those kind of FKTs and long distance hikes, and how the process of a day, like kind of it's quiet at night, and then you hear the birds call in the morning, and the sun's shining. And I think that's quite a nice kind of in tune way to approach a race that often we don't hear about.
Yeah, I think it's really easy to go checkpoint to checkpoint, or you look at kilometers and I just think people should realize that the kilometers don't feel like kilometers out there. And some will feel long and some will go short, and some you'll be distracted and some you'll be painfully aware of every second and meter that goes past. And it's just kind of like, let's not even focus on that. Like, your watch doesn't care that you're in Mont Blanc doing the UTMB, you know, like it'll just tick away and do its own thing. And I think that if you can kind of use things that are outside of that to keep your brain and body in tune with, like, damn, I just left Friday, I've entered Saturday, I'm in Switzerland, I'm in France, I'm going to Italy. Like, what? You know, this is just like such a bizarre way to spend a weekend, you know, like, and then we're all getting on the plane on Sunday or flying home, and UTMB's done for 2026. And it's kind of
some
like,
of us are still running on Sunday.
Yeah.
I thought I'd point that out.
True. Monday, we're definitely on a plane on Monday.
Yeah, okay, Monday, yeah.
And, you know, and it's just kind of like, and that was the race. And it's up to you to make yourself so in that moment and aware of what you're doing and how you're doing it and how you're choosing to move forward and through it. I don't know. It just feels like such a cool experience for a person and a soul and a community as a collective to get to experience together.
If you didn't mention running, I would have thought it sounds like a drunken backpacking trip.
That's how it all began, wasn't it?
Yeah. The start of every great trail. And hey, guys, I've got an idea.
Yeah.
Put
there
the
will be
beers down.
throwing up. You won't feel great after.
yeah, exactly.
Lack of sleep,
You might be staggering. Yeah.
questionable choices.
Yeah.
Ellie, are you coach to people from Australia or New Zealand?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah. So we've got a couple from New Zealand, one from Australia. Yeah.
The only thing I'll add to that incredible review, UTMB review, was
5 stars.
5 stars. Don't be like me and get to the start line too early. Like, I was really worried about the amount of people, and I got there 3 hours early, and they 3 hours before the start, they haven't even moved the cafe tables out of the way of the start line. So you really, really don't need to get there that early. Halve that, maybe hour and a half. It also means that by the time you start the race, you need to pee so bad because you've been waiting for ages.
There's nothing worse than being at the start line and to pee.
Yeah. I made it like about 1.5 km, and then I found a tree, and there's something incredibly demoralizing about having like 1,000 people run behind you, and you're just like, I've got to go. And going in down that massive grass downhill into Les Contamines, that is your first indication of just how hard and steep those downhills are. And that's something that I found was very hard to train for.
Yeah. And that one is particularly one of the most challenging. I think it's not taking that downhill is not how every downhill is afterwards, because you're on a ski slope. So the footing is terrible. Everyone's going far too fast. No one is running that pace. It's just like ridiculous. I've always blown up by Les Contamines, and that's 3 hours, 30 Ks in. And I'm like, just 20 to go. Like, you know, it's just, I have to reset there. But it is a very challenging, steep way to start that descent. But coming into that town and having the energy at the bottom there is
incredible,
like nothing else. Yeah.
What's this next bit into UTMB going to look like for you? What are we going to see from Lucy or not see from Lucy? Like, how are you going to manage this to get the best out of yourself performance-wise in August?
Yeah, so, I mean, you'll see it all because I'm a chronic oversharer at this point. So you'll see it all, trust me. You know, I take the flight on Monday. I have 2 days in London to see my brother and then to the Solomon camp. And that's an 8-day, 2-part block where we'll do the course in kind of like sections, and we'll kind of go back and then forward and then back and then move forward it, which will be really fun. And it brings together all the athletes who are racing OCC through to UTMB. And we've even got our young guns joining us, which will be really special, and some real fun green energy, which I'm sure us old dogs will need.
Just make sure you look down on them with horribly condescending eyes.
I remember when I was like that young grasshopper.
Yeah.
And then I'm doing the same thing that I did the last few years, where some of the Solomon team who don't go home, they have a house in Valseny, which is like a few valleys over, and it's kind of a quiet little French town, but you can replicate the trails really well. It's kind of a place of no distractions, and there's a good crew of us going across and going to sit there and train, and that's for I think 10 days, and then it's race, or that must be 2 weeks, and then race week. So then we'll move back to Chamonix and begin just kind of shutting it all down and just wrapping ourselves in cotton wool and trying to not get sick and not do too much. But I honestly feel like, I was saying to my coach, between Laverado and UTMB, I don't feel like I need or can or want to go. I don't need much more. Like, I think actually in preparation for Laverado, I was in shape to run UTMB. There hasn't been like this gigantic ramp that I've needed to take. And I think that that's been like a really nice feeling of, I've got that in me, and now I'm just kind of like filling up the joy cup of coming to the US and being with good people and having some really fun, memorable experiences. Because again, this is my 4th UTMB, and I said to Solomon, I really want to do UTMB, but I know that I can't repeat the same process to it. And, you know, I did repeat Tarawera, but I was like, I don't want to do Ultra Trail Australia. I love the race, but I've done it so many times. And so Transvolcani has been something that, because it's always clashed with Ultra Trail Australia, and I'm usually not in Europe in May, it's always been like a one-day race to do. And so I'm like, I'm going to do that. And then I wanted to do a longer race, and Laverado, again, has been a one-day, someday kind of race, and it kind of matched up to do that. And so the whole journey here to UTMB has been so rewarding that I feel like, regardless of how UTMB shakes out, and even though this last month of August will be replicated as per the last 3 years, I feel differently about it all. And it just feels very fresh, and I feel very just happy to simmer along. And we've got a lot of new athletes doing UTMB for the first time, and I can be helpful to them and just kind of like be a part of their process now. And a little bit more, instead of focusing on me, I can expand myself because I have a little bit more freedom in this block rather than cramming. Like, I usually am just cramming my poles out now, which is not good.
I mean, it sounds like, you know, there's that old cliche of, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. So it's quite cool to see something different in this build-up, Lucy, and see where we land with it.
The 2 weeks in Valseny sounds like heaven. Doesn't it sound amazing?
It does,
like, we're just going to chill out in the Alps and do some running up some lovely trails. And
Did I mention that we have a chef and a physio living in
Just
look, I don't want to rub it in. Someone's got to do it.
Someone's
going
got
to do it. And do you know what? The thing that I love about that you get to do it, but you share so much of the joy, like, of doing it. Like, I feel like you've always had a total joy and passion and buzz for the trails and the people, and that still has been retained, like, through the highs and lows. Like, I know there's been moments where you're like, but what do you think has been a part of keeping that joy in the sport?
Oh, I think it's just been the people that I've been surrounding myself with. Like, I think I've been even more so intentional about who I'm surrounding myself with, and how I do the sport and how I do it with other people, and like what it looks like, and kind of, instead of white knuckling my way through, being okay to ask for help or to pivot or to share things, to kind of like share the load of this, you know, training so much and so consistently, which is such a blessing, but it's really hard to do on your own. And I feel like this year particularly, and probably last year too, it was more of a collective effort to get me to that start line, and it's been fun to celebrate with the people that have helped me get there. And that's what, you know, this high performance team, and then having the Boulder community, it's just kind of like, let people in and let people help you, because it's so much more rewarding and it's so much more fun. And I just think, like, when you have that level of vulnerability, and you know, you can kind of, like, people around you accept you for as you are, whether you're tired, whether you're stoked, whether you're sad, you know, whatever you're at, and just kind of meet you there. I think it's just like, it all becomes much more manageable than when you're in your own head trying to just like fit a square peg into a round hole and get a green tick on Training Peaks. You know, it's just, there's so much more to life than that.
Do you, sorry, just sort of thinking about, you know, you've been around long enough to see this change and seeing the support that you're now getting as a professional athlete. We're seeing, obviously this year's Western States was a bit colder, so we saw some fast times, but we did see some really fast times, but not just by one person, by several people, right? Both records broken, multiple people going under the course record. Hard Rock just had both records broken again. And UTMB is just getting faster and faster as well. I know there's a lot of pieces that go into this, you know, collective puzzle to create these athletes at the pointy end that are really, really pushing. Do you sort of look at it and sort of say, oh, it's because we're having, you know, we're finally getting the right nutrition on the trail? Or is it all of these little pieces of support and having a chef and having a physio and having mental health help and that sort of carry on? Like, is there one thing that's sort of standing out to you that's really causing this massive shift in speed that we're seeing from the pointy end? I think the majority of the field is still roughly the same. We're all just kind of doing our best, having fun, and I don't think that's got necessarily much faster in the last 10 years. But the pointy end is really, really starting to show its teeth. Do you have any sort of thoughts on what's going on that you're allowed to share?
No, yeah, I think it's just the cumulative things of all those jigsaw pieces. You know, if we're fueling our training, we're recovering better, we're training more consistently, we're having access to better recovery tools, better like performance teams that are kind of all encompassing. Before it was like you had a coach and they were kind of required to try and come up with nutrition solutions, try and mitigate your mental health spirals that come with trying really hard at a sport. And now we've got these teams of people who are got their role and their lane that they're especially educated in. And it's allowing people the opportunity, as well as, you know, there's enough money to actually look after yourself and make it a profession. And I think ultimately it comes down to the dollar, you know, like I think the way, you know, Amanda and I have talked about this heaps. You know, we used to get paid with shoes and high fives. And now it's like...
Wait, there's another way?
Yeah, trust me. You can get socks and T-shirts. It's cool. But, you know, it's like with money, you can create these places. And, you know, it's for me, it used to be that just when I was in Europe could I have access to this stuff. And now I have the funds to be able to bring that to Australia and for the other portion of the year that I'm not in that high performance scene of France, I can also be able to create it in Australia. And I think that that's just like ultimately what it is if you have the budget to look after yourself and you have people around you who are educated and can guide you, you know, you're not just spending money on dumb shit trying to find like little 1%. We're focusing on the big stuff and doubling down on it. I think Tom Evans probably said it best when he was like, basics done well will always trump the 1%ers that cost you a lot of money. And I think that that's just kind of like the thing that I'm like really reminding myself is eat well, sleep well, train well, you know, double down on those things, invest in those things. And then, you know, you can add your Nomeo and bicarb later in the piece, you know? Yeah. Like
but
I'm
the
not
foundation,
at that point yet.
it is still about the foundations, isn't it? But it's just having better guidance and access to being able to put all those foundations in.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I think a lot of what you've said in the whole podcast, but also the last 5 minutes is actually just good life advice, right? Like you're talking about surrounding yourself by good people, the ones that, you know, help you, guide you, and being protecting your energy, eating, sleeping, all the good stuff, moving, recovering well, is just applicable broadly as well.
Yeah, and I think that that's probably like why I don't really feel like the training and running element of my life is separate to my life, because it is so integrated that the things I'm doing, I'd be doing whether I was racing UTMB or not. There are things that are they're so important to the foundation of what makes me me and makes me happy and makes, well, I think any human probably feel their best. Would I say that doing a 5-hour run and the amount of load that I'm doing is making me feel my best and is healthy? I you know, every action has a reaction, and I'm like acutely aware of that. So But I do think that like there's no separation of how I'm treating my running to how I'm treating my life. And it's like, be a good person in sport, be a good person in life, be rested, be training when you're training and be not training when you're not training. It's just like the presentness and the ability to, when it doesn't feel like you've got to completely change your outfit and the hat you're putting on to be able to perform, it just feels like I'm just showing up as me. I don't have to go from running Lucy to Lucy. I can just be Lucy. And that's been something that I've always had, like, I think we're told to kind of like separate it. But I feel like once I've just enveloped it all into myself, it's just like, dude, this is it. Like, it's been, I'm like crafted myself into who I'm the happiest being. And I think when you can show up as that, you'll be the best athlete and the best human on and off the track, with a bib, without the bib.
Plus 2 weeks in Valacine with a private chef.
Certainly helps with the...
I'm not jealous at all. No.
I'll send you photos. Don't worry, Andrew.
Oh my goodness.
Please do.
The only thing I'm sorry, Lucy, but you're not allowed to win because no, you're not, because you're Australian, and I've been constantly ragging on the Australians about how we've had winners at UTMB, a winner at UTMB, and so if the Australians win, then I won't have that ammunition. So yeah.
Dude, Team Ruth Croft all the way. Don't worry about it.
Bring the red lightsaber,
Ruth
Lucy.
Croft. I can see it.
It's just my reverse psychology because we are actually all rooting for you. It's going to be awesome.
We'll go 1-2.
Okay, 1-2.
Deal. That's my dream podium right
That
there.
would be sweet.
Yeah, would be. You'll hear the cheers from New Zealand and Australia.
I'll even tolerate like a meter behind her, but no holding hands, okay? No holding hands.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, we're not holding hands. We're not holding hands.
I don't think either of them for hand holders, to be honest.
No, man.
I want ruthless. No,
Ruthless,
I didn't mean, no pun intended. No pun intended. To
we
the
need
end.
a word for Lucy.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we'll come up with something. We'll come up with something by the time UTMB gets here.
It's exciting. I wish it was tomorrow, but it's not.
I don't. Cool. I need some more time to rest.
Yeah, fair enough. You've got to do your little, what is it? Summer salts? No, what's it called?
Never summer.
And because this episode is being released after that race, I can tell you that Lucy was the second female, 7th overall. She ran the 60K race in just over 7 hours, and it's got like 2,700 metres of vert. So awesome. Onward and upward. Let's go UTMB.
Although it feels like it's always summer.
Yeah, it is. Like when I see you, I always just think of sunshine and summer, because that's pretty much when I see you.
Lovely.
I love that.
As opposed to the 5 degrees it's currently here.
Well, we had a heavy frost here this morning. So, yeah, Lucy wouldn't even know what that's like. It's been super, super fun catching up, and we really appreciate you sharing your time with us, and, of course, all your amazing insights into the sport and the experiences. Like, it's always, you always show up and give us the authentic Lucy rundown, which we love and appreciate. So yeah, we're backing you for Never Summer, but also of course the big dog UTMB. So thanks heaps for coming on again, Lucy.
Well, thanks for the juicy questions and the good laughs. I appreciate it. I knew you would, Ali. Only you could.
We're all about it.
Where's that popcorn gone?
Yeah. Get your tea.
I haven't even had a tea yet. I need to get one now, though. Thanks, Lucy.
Thanks, Lucy. And thanks, Andrew and Ali, for holding it down. That was awesome work. She's an actual global superstar, right? Like, sort of come from being the younger, in the water, to just being like, she's crushing it. So that was awesome. Dirt Church Radio is presented by me, Matt Raymond.
Me, Ali Pottinger.
And our third cousin, Andrew McDowell.
We're on all the podcasts.
Be professional, Pottinger. Come on.
We're on all the podcast platforms, so like, follow, and give us a rating. It helps.
We're on social media at Dirt Church Radio, and you can email us at dirtchurchradio@gmail.com.
Now, don't forget to sign up to our Substack for a weekly newsletter and Aid Station podcast.
Now, I am completely aware for the last 2 weeks we have dropped the ball. Greatest run ever. We're out. First time ever. Send in your greatest run ever if you would like, and we will read them out, and you can read them unabridged on the website too, dirtchurchradio@gmail.com.
And thanks to our supporters Further Faster and our Substack subscribers and the DCR Aid Station crew.
Stay tuned for our show in 2 weeks when we have an epic, legendary, amazing guest lined up for you. I'm stoked to bring this one to you. I'm legit excited. Matewa.